everybody, it's me, the Prince of FNAF, or you can call me Blaze Landros, whatever you feel like. I just got up, so, yeah, forgive me if I'm not too into it. But, yeah, I'm mainly nocturnal, that's why you're gonna be like, what? He just woke up? Yeah, I'm mainly nocturnal, so. Um, Today we're gonna be talking about Hobbs and Shaw. It's, a movie I saw a while ago, like, I think I saw it, like, 2 days ago. It was a great movie. It's basically about two guys, and they go on a mission together to try to get this girl back because she got this virus during a mission where her and her military people were like going out to try to retrieve this virus, and Idris Elba's character, the bad guy, came out and he went and ransacked the place and destroyed everything, and she was the only survivor. But let's actually get into the storyline. So the storyline is we start off with a side by side of Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson's characters. They're waking up, making their breakfast, taking their cars out, and going to a party. And it's some guy is like, what the hell, who are you? Like, it's blah blah blah. So they have a big fight, and it's like a side by side of literally the exact same thing, only different because they're different people. But like, it's literally the same event, just in their different circumstances. So we find out that they're living basically the same life. So later on during the movie, we find out that the girl that they're after, she's on a military mission with the rest of her team to try to retrieve this serum that's like a virus, and that these bad guys want to turn this serum into a virus, which basically turns your organs into mush. And yeah, um, so she gets it right after this guy shows up, and Idris Elba's character shows up, and he's like, and they're like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm the bad guy." Yeah. So he takes everybody out, and she's the only survivor, and he's got like these super enhanced robot parts, so he's like super powerful. She barely escapes with the serum, so she injects the serum into her, and then retreats from the scene, and later on in the movie, they're like, okay, we find Dwayne Johnson's character. We find Hobbs, which is Dwayne Johnson's character, and he's having a big breakfast with his daughter, and her daughter's like doing this project about her family heritage and her who she comes from, what her family tree is, and she only has two people on her family tree right now, which is Hobbs and herself. And so later on we get to the whole story about her family, but this was actually pretty surprising. Ryan Reynolds shows up, and he apparently was Hobbs's best friend in childhood. So they're talking about everything and blah blah. And Ryan Reynolds is just playing this really weird geek. He's like, yeah, this girl, she like killed everybody. She killed her whole team up, and she freaking stabbed a guy with a brick. How do you stab a guy with a brick unless they have no bones in there? Like so this he says shit like that, which is pretty funny. So he eventually says that we want you to join this company so you can help find this girl, and we can get this serum back because the serum is essentially very bad. So he agrees, and so then they go to the place, and where Jason Statham and Dwayne Johnson's characters, Hobbs and Shaw, they collide, and they of course don't like each other. So they're like, I'm not working with this bozo. I hate this guy. I would rather not look at this guy because his face looks. I hate his stupid face, and like they say shit like that. They don't like each other essentially. So the whole movie basically works around the fact that these guys have to try to work together to stop the common enemy, which they do at the end. And That's what their whole upbringing was. They had to work together in order to stop the enemy, which is pretty good thing to do. It's like if you brought your kids to this movie, it's a great lesson to learn. Sometimes you have to work together, even though you don't like somebody. You have to work together for the greater good. Like, yeah. So they go and find this girl, and of course, Dwayne Johnson is the first to find the girl. So Hobbs is the first person to find this girl. So they're fighting, and he brings her back to the facility and questions her, and he's like, first of all, I knew you weren't fighting me because you wanted to kill me. You were fighting me to get away. And so I guess Dwayne Johnson knows how fighting works. So I guess, yeah, so she was like not fighting him to kill. She was fighting to get away from him. So pretty cool. Um, so then Jason Statham's character, Shaw shows up. So Shaw's like, "What are you doing here?" And so he tells him that this is his sister, and so they have a fight, and so Hobbs's daughter calls, and she's like talking to him, and he's like, "Dude, I'm working with something." So they have a big discussion, and then after he's off the phone, the guy he left with Shaw's sister, he's like beating this new guy up, beating the employee up, and he gets in there, and he like manhandles her, but that not in a sexist way. He just manhandles her to get her to stop, and so then she gets out. They find her again. She goes and meets up with I guess Shaw, and then Shaw's like, "Dude, she's my girlfriend. I mean, no, she's my sister. Blah blah blah. You it's not your business anymore. This is a family matter." And Dwayne Johnson's character Hobbs is like, "Well, when it's a fate of the world, man, it becomes my business." So they go on a crazy adventure. They have a couple run-ins with Idris Elba's character, who's the villain. Blah blah blah. And then we find out that Idris Elba's character was shot by Shaw, Jason Statham, and multiple times in the head and in the stomach. And so I guess this evil company found him, brought him back to life as a robot cyborg type person, and he was sent after them to stop them because the evil people knew that they were going to try to stop. So they created this new version of this guy. I forget his actual name, but he's like a super advanced robot cyborg person now. And so yeah, so they have a couple fights and skirmishes, and eventually later on, Hobbs finds his family, and his family isn't very happy to see him, except for his mother. Really, his brothers, because he has very much a lot of brothers, and his brother's like, "You left, you abandoned us, and you never said goodbye, and blah blah blah, and you never came back. What the fuck's up with that? You never visited us." And stuff, and so he has to, prove it to them that he really does care about them, and so they go old school with the fighting of course, Idris Elba's villain and his crew. So they fight old school with explosives and like spears and shit. So they have a fight, and it leads them to crash into like a cavern. They crash down there, and then they have the final battle. And this is where they finally realize that Hobbs and Shaw have to team up, because they're not going to be able to defeat this guy unless they team up. So they team up, and they finally beat this guy up. And Shaw makes the choice not to kill this guy again. He's like, "Dude, I killed you once. I took the bullet once. I'm not going to do it again." So of course, the evil company is monitoring this through the cyborg guy's eyes, and so they're like, "Yeah, he's fucked up for the last time." So they deactivate him, and he falls off the cliff and into the water below. And then they extract the virus safely from their friend, and then Shaw and Hobbs, part ways. And in the very end, during the post credits, you see Shaw and his sister meeting his mother in jail, because I guess her mother's a bad guy. So, and her mother in the beginning of the movie, I didn't mention, but in the beginning of the movie, the mother's like, "You guys were always best friends, making evil schemes together. What happened to you guys? I just wish I could see you guys again before I died." And so they go in with the cake for their mother's birthday, and they're like, "Yeah, sis made it for you. And so her mother's just like so happy to see them together, you know. And I'm like, what a great way to end off a movie, you know. Um, and then Hobbs brings his daughter up to where his brothers and mother is and introduces them to his family, his extended family. And she's like, whoa, I got more family than I thought I had. So that's a great way to end, you know. Hobbs's daughter gets to meet her whole extended family, and Shaw's mother gets to, you know, see her brother and sister, you know. I mean, gets to see her daughter and son together, you know, working together. So what a great ending that is. So I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Hobbs and Shaw. I highly recommend it. It is hard to get behind it. It's a very confusing storyline. You have to be, you know, you have to have a certain mindset to understand what the hell's going on for the first few minutes of the movie. But once you understand it, it's a great joyride for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this movie review, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Do take care.